Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn how to build a real-time dashboard using AWS IoT and AWS AppSync. Okay, so I'll give you a brief idea of what is an IoT device, how does this work, and how we are going to build the real-time dashboard using the solutions which are available in AWS Cloud. So basically, you can see this picture which is on AWS IoT web page. So this shows that how an IoT device works. Here we have a smartphone application and we have an IoT device which is nothing but a smart lamp installed in a living room. So we have this smartphone application and we want to turn on this light or turn off this light using the smartphone application. So we can do this by using this particular solution which we are going to build. So if you want to see a demo, so we send a message from our smartphone application to turn on this device, and this message will be delivered to this lamp, and this lamp will be turned on. Okay, similarly it can be switched off as well, or some other activity can be done by sending a message from our smartphone application to this smart lamp. Okay, so this is how this solution works. You can do a lot of different activities using this smartphone application which is connected to this smart device, which is nothing but IoT. So let's see what we are going to build in this particular solution, and how we will design this particular architecture on AWS cloud. So here is the overall architecture of what we are going to build, and how we will build it on AWS cloud solution. Okay, so we are going to build basically a real-time application which will be a mobile or a web-based application, and will have one IoT device which will be a temperature sensor device. This temperature sensor device will basically record the temperature of a room. So it will record the room temperature, and whenever there will be a change in room temperature, this IoT device will publish this data to IoT Core. Okay, this data will be published to IoT Core, and once the data is published, the same data will be reflected on our mobile or web-based application, which is nothing but our real-time dashboard. So basically our agenda is that we have an IoT device, and whenever that IoT device records some kind of change, that change should be reflected in real time to our application dashboard. Okay, so this is what we are going to build. Now how to build this using AWS solutions, different services which are available on AWS. We will use those services and we'll build the solution completely on AWS. So we have an IoT sensor device which will be nothing but a hardware. So for this solution we consider that it is a temperature sensor which records the room temperature of a room. Okay, we have installed it in our living room or in our bedroom, and whenever the temperature will change, we'll be notified on our mobile application or web-based application. Okay, so to complete this solution, first we will use IoT Core. So IoT Core is basically an AWS service which helps us to connect to IoT devices and publish or subscribe to IoT devices. So our IoT sensor device, this device will publish the temperature data to this IoT Core, and once the IoT Core receives the message from this IoT sensor device, we'll have a rule engine written here in IoT rule engine. So we'll write a rule that whenever we receive the message from this IoT sensor device, we will do some action. Okay, that is what IoT rule will do. So this IoT rule, here we can define that, okay, whenever we are receiving temperature data from this device, let's trigger a Lambda. Okay, so we can do a whole lot of different triggers here, but let's trigger a Lambda. So Lambda is nothing but it is a serverless function on AWS where we can write whole lot of business logic. We can do a lot of things there. So whenever this we receive this temperature data on IoT Core, we trigger this Lambda. That is what this rule will do. So once this Lambda is triggered, so this Lambda, when it is triggered, it will also receive that temperature data from IoT Core. Okay, so once we receive the temperature data as payload in Lambda, then again we can do different activities here. So here in this solution, what we have is AppSync. AppSync is nothing but serverless GraphQL solution available on AWS. So in my previous video, I have explained you what is AppSync. If you don't know about AppSync, you can check out that video. I'll paste the video link in the comment section, or you can also check here. So this AppSync will have queries and mutations. Since it is a GraphQL API, it will have queries, mutations, and subscriptions. So mutations, queries, and subscription are nothing but real-time updates. And this AppSync will also be storing the data to DynamoDB. DynamoDB is nothing but a key value pair-based database available on AWS. So once we receive the temperature data in our Lambda, the Lambda will call GraphQL mutation. Okay, so Lambda will call this GraphQL mutation on this AppSync API. So it will send the temperature data by this mutation to AppSync, and once the AppSync receives this mutation, what it will do, it will update that data to DynamoDB. So once that data is updated to DynamoDB, in the real time, the mobile client or web clients, they will be notified that, okay, there is a change in data since these clients have subscribed to AppSync API. So once the data is uploaded to DynamoDB, okay, the clients will also get that same message that this is the real-time temperature data, and that is how the real-time update, the temperature update, will be visible on our dashboard in mobile or web-based application. So this is how the overall architecture for this solution will work. So there are different components like IoT Core, Lambda, AppSync, DynamoDB, and using these 4 different components, we can design such a real-time application completely on AWS cloud. Okay, so this is a smart home solution kind of solution which we can build on AWS, and there can be a whole lot of different kind of solutions similar to this, or other use cases which can be developed easily on AWS. And there are some other components as well in this architecture, like we'll have to grant IAM permissions to Lambda, to AppSync, to IoT Core to perform this activity and interact with each other. So all of those things we can discuss while we are actually implementing this solution. So if this solution is clear to you, we can dive deeper into AWS and we can see the services one by one. And in one of the upcoming video, we'll actually go and write the code to execute this solution, and we'll build this real-time application using this architecture. So let's go to AWS console and check one by one what are those different services which we will be using for our solution. So first of all, let's see what is AWS IoT Core. So if you go to AWS console, you can go to IoT Core, and this will take you to this page, AWS IoT. So basically this service helps you to securely connect, test, and manage your IoT devices. Okay, and it is very powerful, and it is used by a lot of big companies. So AWS IoT is where you can build your IoT based solutions. Okay, so you can create your IoT things here. Okay, and then you can also test your IoT devices here in test section, where you can publish to a particular topic, and then you can subscribe to that topic, and then you can listen to what messages are coming. So for example, if I write here temperature sensor from living room. So for example, this is one topic where I want to publish this message. Okay, and I want to subscribe to the same topic here. So if I'm subscribing to this topic, and when I publish this message payload to this topic, you can see that, okay, this topic will have this message. So you can test your message topics here, and a lot of different services are available in AWS IoT which can be utilized for this solution. So we'll see further like what are the things which we are going to set up here when we actually implement this solution. So this is one component of this solution, AWS IoT. The other component is Lambda. So if you go to Lambda, where you can write serverless functions. So you can go to create function, and then you can create a function. You can give your function a name. You can select a runtime, be it Node.js, or you can write it in Python, Go, Java, any of the language which you want. You can choose from here, and then you can start writing your code in Lambda, and that will be sufficient. And then the third component which we have is AppSync. AppSync is nothing but GraphQL APIs. So once you look for AppSync in AWS console, you will land in this page and from here you can start working on AppSync. So if you go like build from scratch, if you want to start from scratch, or you also have some ready-made templates available here, like if you want to make a blog app, you want to make a chat app, so all those basically ready-made templates are also available on AppSync. So we'll also see that how we write AppSync APIs here. So these are the different components which will be used for making this solution up and running. So in the next video, what we'll do, we'll start writing some code and we will start implementing this solution to make a real-time dashboard which will listen to some IoT sensor device, and whenever there will be a change in the temperature as per this IoT sensor device, the same will be reflected in our mobile or web client. Okay, so thank you very much for this video. Have a nice day.